This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Anybody from Broward College? Let's start over. All right. I got you, Margie, from Chipola. Is Darwin going to be on or no?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay. I'm from College of Central Florida. Let's see. How about from Daytona State? Who has arrived from Daytona State?
Dante Leon is here from Daytona State.
All right. Good job.
Good.
All right. Let's go. Could you mark you down? Nobody else? All right.
No.
How about Eastern Florida State College? All right.
Sam, I want to come in just a second.
Sure.
Broward does have Russell McCaffrey. Looks like he's logged in from Broward.
Who was it?
Russell McCaffrey. Yeah, Russ is logged in.
Okay, I can't see it. It's too many to see up there for me. I can't see them all. So nobody from Daytona State except for Leon. Dante. I got the guys going. Leon, I've got you in. Let's see. Oh, I was at East Central Florida. Anybody from East Central Florida come on? Dan, are you here from Escambia County? I got Marilyn, Elizabeth, Daniele, and now Brad finally showed up, so I can mark him here. FLATE, and then how about Florida A&M? Anybody from Florida A&M? Okay, anybody from Florida Gateway? FIT, anybody from FIT? All right, Florida Keys. All right, Florida Southwestern State College. Florida State College in Jacksonville. Okay, Gulf Coast State. I see Alex here.
Ron is also.
Who?
Ron.
Yeah, I'll get back here in a minute. I'll pick them up. So I've got Alex, Tracy, Shirley. Who else from Hillsborough?
Ron Smith.
Oh, Ron. Okay, good. And that's it. Okay. How about Immokalee Technical College? Anybody from there? Indian River.
Stacy Tenor, Florida A&M University.
Oh, Stacy, you came in. Okay, good. Let me jump back up there.
Apologize, I'm doing a dual meeting thing, but the other one should be over soon.
Right. That's Stacy. Okay, good. Hey man, got to get those agreements done. I'm ready for them. Right, let's say Gulf Coast, no, the Indian River. Kaiser University.
Yes, sir.
Anybody from Lake Sumter? Nobody from Lake Sumter. All right, Miami-Dade. I've got Jeff on, and who else?
I think it's just me, Sam.
All right.
Kendall Campus.
All right, no problem. No problem. Yep, sounds good. How about North Florida? How about Northwest Florida State? Palm Beach State? From Pasco, Hernando, I have Allison on, and who else?
I don't know if Andrew's made it on, Andrew Forsman. And I don't know if we can claim Larry Chu anymore or not. I don't know if he's still on. I don't think so, so it might be just me today.
Okay, no problem. How about Pensacola State College? Polk State? Santa Fe? Osceola County
Everybody's
School District.
sleeping in today.
What's that? All right, Seminole State.
Yes, Cecilia Larson. Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Anybody else from Seminole State? You recognize anybody?
Not on the list yet.
Okay. All right, how about South Florida State College?
Garrett Lee here.
Okay, I got you down. But I've got you down. Yeah, I don't know why you're down a different part of the list, but you are. I got you down. Nobody else, I guess. All right, Suncoast Technical College. Yeah, Suncoast Technical College. St. John River State College. How about St. Pete?
Nativia Middleton from St. Petersburg College is here. I think we have two
Thought
other
I
people.
saw Chris Kane on here. Christopher,
Yes,
are you here?
I'm here. I am. Christopher Kane is here.
I don't have their
Can't hear
names
him.
on there. Someone can mark that down.
Mike Ramsey, St. Pete College as well.
Okay, Mike, I got you on here. Okay, I'll put you down. Anybody else?
And Nativia Middleton.
Okay. How about from State College of Florida? Tallahassee Community College?
Yes, you have Gideon Naji here.
Okay. All right, Gideon, got you in. All right. How about South Florida? I saw Andrew pop on there a minute ago. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, Sam.
Okay,
Hello,
good.
everyone.
Richard's still working on the dock, or is he here?
I hope he's not on the dock because he'd be underwater by now.
He might be out
see
there
him, though.
wrestling alligators. I don't know, man. It could be anything.
I don't see him, but I know Ron Eklund is having a hard time getting in. He just emailed me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in now.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
good. I'll put you back in here in a minute, Ron. Valencia College.
Rado Bunia.
Okay.
Paul Wilder.
All right, Paul Wilder. Okay. I'll have to write him in. I don't see him on here. Is Rick Frazier in? No? Wasn't sure if he'd be in.
No.
That pretty much covers the colleges, I guess, from, do you want to take attendance on the vendors and workforce and all that?
Yeah, why don't you run through some of the names, or maybe we could just ask them to chime in.
Yeah, is anybody from Adams Air and Hydraulics in? I don't think Jason Everett's on. ATC?
Sam, why don't we just ask them to chime in quickly? I know there'll be some competition, but we'll try.
Good morning, this is Steve at Bluegrass Educational.
There we go.
I got you, Steve. I saw you on early.
It's Rod Jager with DC Jager Corporation.
Okay, I got Rod. Also, I've got Bob on Blevins from there. Nobody else from the Department of Education, right?
No. I haven't seen anybody log in.
No.
Okay, how about
Hey, good morning, y'all. Scotty Weller with Technical Training Aids. Happy Friday, everybody.
We let him in. Yeah. Okay. Nobody from Goodhart, Wilcox, Harris.
Jason Roth here with Autodesk Education.
Oh, okay. I missed you guys somehow up here.
Morning, Sam. This is Richard Hyatt with Hyatt Consulting Group.
All right.
Morning, Sam.
Richard,
this is Carl
ready?
Hansick from Test Equity.
Okay, let me get down here to where you guys are. Slow down for just a second here. All right.
So I see, Sam, on the list, I see Cecilia's joined from Seminole State, and that I think we missed earlier, and Alan Zuby from Florida State College at Jacksonville. Anyone else
Go
we
back,
missed?
go back.
Russell
Who was it
McCaffrey from
from?
Broward College is here.
Russell, okay. I think I put you in, Russell. I thought we just put you in.
Yeah, I
got
think
you
I
on
logged
there.
in. I think I logged in right as you were sort of calling my name and moving on, and you may have caught me. Wasn't sure. Thanks.
Yeah, boy, that's just in time.
The
I
trouble
see
with
Drew
being,
Hoff.
trouble with being a bee.
I've seen Garrett,
Celia.
Florida State College.
I got you, Garrett. Yeah.
I see Drew also Hoff.
Yeah, I got him already. You said Celia Larson come in? She's in? And I
I'm
got
here.
her. So who else come in? You said somebody come in late besides Ron. Okay.
Well, I see
we've
Drew
got,
Hoff also. Did you get him?
yeah, I got Drew. It's no problem.
Vijay Kanal from College of Florida Keys.
From where?
College of the Florida Keys.
Oh, Florida Keys. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
College of the Florida.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Okay.
Anybody else? I think with the recording, you can pretty much match up what I don't have here. So I think we're ready to keep going. So what I want to
see
do is I
Tina.
want to get, we'll pick them up, Marilyn.
Let's see, Tina. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we need to get moving. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So basically, we left off college updates. We got all the way down, I think, to about the Eastern State College, and I wanted to. Amir was talking there for a little. I believe it was not me. Excuse me. Back down here. Yeah, Amir. I don't know if you're on or not. I didn't hear you come in. Is there anybody from Eastern State College? Eastern Florida State College? All right. Let's see. How about Stacy? Anything from FAMU that you want to talk about right quick? Got a couple of minutes?
Yes. I have a few minutes. Good morning. How everybody's doing? I know we were talking about the articulation agreements. We're still in the process. I'm working with the new, well, it's not new, but the night program was already did several articulation agreements with I believe 19 community colleges throughout the state. What we're working on now is the ones particular to electronics, construction, and architecture that each or whatever community colleges has that program. I have a meeting on Monday with the dean and the directors to submit the proposals to them. It'll go through the process of the night program and eventually to you guys who deals with the say yay or nay to the proposal, and then hopefully by I'm just saying by the end of May they'll be out there so we can have a pathway for your students to come from the community college to FAMU with not a lot of credits. They're trying to keep it within that credit limit. Go ahead.
Some of us, Stacy, we've got the agricultural program as well, and I wonder if this is going to cover any program coming in, or is it strictly engineering, or what are you talking?
Presently, I'm talking about engineering, technology, and architecture. But if we have agriculture, I can also contact them. That would be Ms. Freeman or Dr. Thomas.
Right. Sounds good. Great. Great. Thanks.
All right. I had a
BJ,
question
you got
on
anything from Florida Keys? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know we talked about agritronics. Was that that's still in the works?
Yes, it is. We're going to be applying next April for that. I'm working on, I got to get with St. John's River. They wanted to be
Okay.
a part of it with you and me because we both have agricultural programs.
Yes.
And then we'll probably expand it once we get into a broader group. We just need 3 to start with, and then I can expand it to the other programs with agricultural and engineering kind of combination.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah,
going to
I
be
would like to
more,
be on
it's
a
not going to be ag engineering, it's going to be agritronics because we want to start
right.
another program. But I can create, it's easier to create a specialization under engineering technology. That's kind of what we're going to do.
Okay. I mean, I just like to be on a
No,
development.
you're going to be, we're going to get in there. I just need to know, but I'll need to touch base with the engineering side and the agricultural side because we're looking at mechanized ag and the other one. So,
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
VJ, anything from Florida
Sam,
Keys?
Sam, one moment.
Yes.
So there's a lot of background noise. I'm not sure where it's coming from at the moment. But
Everybody's asleep in my house.
whoever is not speaking, please turn off your microphone.
Yeah, I can, if you're in the view, you can tell which microphones are on. And so the only other microphone that's on is BK. I'm not quite sure who that is, but because my view, they're just showing me the initials.
Yeah, it was Stacy's background noise.
Yeah,
I think he had his computer on and some.
Noise in the background. Sorry, Stacy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
I think
BJ. Anything from Florida Keys?
He's brand new.
There,
VJ, do you want to tell us anything about the program? I know you're just getting started, but what's happening? We're just doing some brief updates from the colleges.
Yeah.
I guess. Is he unmuted?
All right. You might be muted.
Oh, sorry. I should be good now,
Okay.
right? So
Yes.
yeah, I am actually new
great.
for the
Thank you.
college, and yeah, I am new for the college, and this forum itself is new. So I actually do not have, any streamlined updates, but I mean, we are involved in engineering technology, and
Are you teaching this
I
semester?
was basically involved in basic, introductory courses. So other than that, yeah.
Well, welcome aboard, man. Good to have you.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, welcome aboard. Glad to have you on board.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. I don't think anybody from Florida Southwestern came in, right? So I know somebody from Florida State College showed up. Who was that? At least I thought so. All right. Then let's see who wants to take on Hillsborough. Alex, do you want to start it? Shirley, anybody? Tracy?
Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can't hear anything unless you unmute.
Well, it's Tracy. There's nothing new. There's nothing new at HTC on my end.
Well, we've moved online.
Shirley?
Everything.
Well, everyone's
going
Yeah,
pretty smooth.
everybody. I think everybody did that. How's it going, Shirley? How's it going? Are you going to be able to test out on the PMMI?
I think we're still working on that little piece. There's still a lot of conversation going on about that. We're still moving forward with like our CPT and PMI, and we're just going to have to see. We're working on it. We'll have a word before it's time to test. I've got some students waiting to test. As a matter of fact,
So do I. Yeah.
Put things in place.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
We're 3D printing Halo for the community. You've got that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the bed on mine's too small to print what they want, so I couldn't do it on my end. So I had to give it up.
Oh, okay. There were
Yeah,
two
I have a real
versions. They had
small.
a,
I have like a 2 inch by 3 inch bed, you know, in a bath. So it's small parts and stuff that I can make, but that's about it.
oh, okay.
Nobody was interested, so I didn't do anything. All right, Ron, you got anything you want to add?
Well, I'm not going to steal the thunder from Dante, who's presenting a little bit later about the new programs, but you know, he's going to present on the FAME, but the FAME actually covers some of the programs that we're doing.
Okay, good.
You know, we were already online, so it's no big change.
Yeah.
I can say that this summer, the ET numbers of applications is up relatively significantly. A lot of students are coming in now that are, you know, moving forward on just going from an ASCT to BSCT. And we've made the degree, we've added a lot of flexibility. We've been working really hard to add flexibility to the program so that we can accommodate all the different kinds of programs that are feeding into it. The IT numbers are down by about 50% as far as incoming students. So, you know, it's kind of hard to pull apart what is pandemic related stuff and what is just, you know, business as usual. So, you know, we haven't really started pushing the BSIT. We've, you know, once we finish the ABET accreditation of that, we kind of expected to start going out and beating the bushes and advertising. But as everybody knows, there's been a wrench in everything. So kind of where we stand. But in the AS programs, I know Dante's got a lot of news, so I'm going to leave it. He's going to be presenting that later.
All right.
That's all I got.
You kind of jumped in. I was looking at Ron Smith, not Ron.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Ron. We're gonna catch up with Dante here in a minute, and he can finish it up for you. Is that okay?
Got it.
All right. How about nobody from Indian River came in, or Lake Sumter?
No,
Jeff, you want to
no.
talk about Miami-Dade?
Sure. Miami-Dade College. We're continuing with our EET program. We're getting a cohort ready to go into the upper division when all of this happened. We're making efforts to keep it together. I was interested in Ron Eglin's remark about his ET numbers being up. I'm still trying to put an effort together to try to get EET students involved. We seem to still have a or a lack of education for incoming high school graduates. They don't know what an AS program is down here. And even though I push it very hard, many of them don't understand the difference between an AA and an AS. And maybe a year goes by, and by that time, it's very difficult to talk them into our bachelor's program because they've missed 1 year. Our bachelor's program starts with our AS EET, finishes in the 5 semesters, they matriculate in the upper division, and they graduate. So in 10 semesters, we're getting students out the door. That's coming in at just about at the college algebra level. In a traditional AA student coming in would need 2, maybe 3 years at Miami-Dade and then matriculate to an upper division school at a university, and from there take another 2 to 3 years. We have identified our program is faster to complete. Our content is great. We have made changes to it as we moved certain classes around between upper division and lower division, PLCs being one of them. And we're hoping to grow the program, and I'm looking for ideas for that. We also have in our whole group, we have a bachelor's degree in data analytics and a bachelor's degree that was planned to start in fall, I believe, for cybersecurity, but I think it was moved back a little bit, maybe to spring. We did start a solar certificate, and we're going to have our first graduates at the end of next week. That's good. With our bachelor's degree, we have articulation agreements now with FAU, FIU, so our students can go from our bachelor's degree to graduate school. We also have students who are attending online graduate school at Georgia Tech. They're paying about $8,000 to get their graduate degree complete. And we were ready to compete in the IEEE competition, Southeast Con. We didn't have the robot that would roll around, but we had the one that would stamp out the various numbers in pi, 3.14159, and we were ready to go, but that got shut down. So we're trying, and we keep pushing on here. So I'm interested to hear ideas about getting equipment. I talked to some of the vendors, and whether money's there or not, it comes and goes. But I think what solves everyone's issue is having more students come in.
Yeah, I think everybody's probably seeing an increase. I know we've been flat for last 2 years, and then when this happened, we've got 11% increase coming in. So it's
are you doing an advertising campaign? How are students finding the program?
Well, we are always advertising. That's going on continuously. I'm in the high schools. I'm in manufacturing. I'm everywhere. I move around. But I'm it for my program, so I have to do it all basically. I do get a little bit of help with some people who do a career, pathways people that will go and help. And recruiters are finally jumping on board. My biggest problem is advisors. I think we're all seeing issues with advisors steering them in. Oh, well, you need to go into regular engineering. They don't even think about engineering technology. Even our own advisors have no idea what we do. And I keep having meetings with them, and it's finally starting to sink in.
I think we have the same issue. That I meet with our college advisors at the Kendall campus, and they said, "Wow, this is great. I didn't know about it. Yeah, but I was here last year. You guys know about this." And it's the steering of the students who may not be. They have the idea. I mean, to get somebody to go to engineering, it's like, oh my God, you even scared them off at that point. And they come to your school. Do they want to come to, in our case, our EET program? They go, well, I only want to go civil engineering.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that might be a good topic for the next ET forum is about recruitment and retention. How do advisors make an impact? Because it's big at my college, I can tell you that. All right, well, great. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate everything.
Hey, Sam.
Yes. Yes.
You bring up an important topic that's actually a perennial topic for engineering technology. And there's if you're not on the ASEE Engineering Technology listserv, Walt Buchanan at Texas A&M handles that. Everybody should be on that listserv. And there's a big discussion right now about the applied engineering, and perhaps that would be a really good discussion topic for next fall. For us.
Yep, we could try to add it to the list. Hopefully Brad's writing some of this down, and we got it recorded, so we could go back and review it. That sounds great. All right, I'm going to move on because we're on a time schedule here. So anybody from North Florida College, by the way, come in? No. All right, or Northwest State College? I forgot. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. How about Palm Beach State College? Anybody? All right, Allison, you're up. Pasco Hernando.
Okay, we have a few updates. I mentioned this last week. We have a changeover in instructors. Many of you know Dr. Larry Chu. He will be leaving us, even though I think he'll still be adjunct online. He'll be full-time at Seminole State. We recently just offered a position to Andrew Forsman, who was on the call last time. I don't know if he's hopped on yet. He's been with us as an adjunct for almost 2 years, and he's been teaching in the local high school engineering. So we welcome him aboard full-time, so that way we can have hopefully some stability. As the past couple of years we've had some fluctuations with instructors. So hopefully we'll have some stability, and that way that can help us grow. Because as I hear you all with trying to grow the program, it's rather difficult when we keep switching instructors. even though all the instructors have been wonderful, it's still, the students like that continuity. As far as coursework, we're, had to do the massive online switch. So I'm open to any and all suggestions as to the lab piece, as to how to make that better. And for students, especially when we go online, all of our somewhat didactic courses that we have will go online if they're not already. But the ones that have the lab component, we're looking at what options we can do for the students, because we're in this realm of who knows with the lovely coronavirus and what effects that'll have on instruction as we move forward.
Well, Allison, Maryland had said in the past that if you go to your vendors for your equipment, whatever you're using has some really good stuff. I mean, everybody's been giving us a lot of support from our current vendors. Just make sure you're in touch with your current vendor, because that's what's going to get you there.
And that's where we have in this. I can say they've been wonderful. The ones that we've been working with to give us access to different materials and to see what's out there. Because again, I tend to lean on the instructors more, because that way they're the subject matter expert more than I am. So I want to make sure that they get that since we've had some fluctuation. So hopefully I can get Andrew up to speed and have him look at the different vendor items. I've been forwarding all of that information as I've been getting it from the vendors, so that way they can look at it and see what's best for them. So
right.
So I have been doing that. So to all the vendors, and I'll forget all. I don't want to leave anyone out, but thank you for all of your support and assistance as we make the changes. So yes, and I will say this: we did some modifications in the lab the first couple of weeks because we had no students, because we needed to move some equipment around, and now it's like, okay, we have the equipment where we want it, but we have no students to operate it. So
all right, yeah, that happens. I'm in the same boat. I know how it is. Yeah. Thanks, Allison. Appreciate it. Anybody from Pensacola State College come on board? How about Polk State College? Nobody from Santa Fe?
No, I saw Maury jump on. Maury, are you here? Maury, Tusi.
Oh, I didn't even see him come
still on.
I'm focused on this list, so I can't see much.
Yeah.
Maury,
Let's see
are
if
you
I
able
see him again. Maybe he got bumped up.
Yeah.
I don't see him now.
We'll come back. We can come back to him. Yeah. All right, Celia.
Okay.
Larson, you're up.
All right. So I guess we have used quite a bit of online resources for the lab part, because that is the tricky part when you go online suddenly. And we have also leaned on creativity by the instructors to, you have your little beam, or you have your little harness press indentation, and then you make a lab out of it. I think for the summer we will be using more online and more practical parts to our labs. But that is what we are trying to use the vendors to.
That's great. That's great. Good. All right. All right. Anybody else from Seminole State come on board? All right. How about South Florida State? Did anybody come in?
That'd be me, Garrett Lee.
Garrett, give us a. Oh yeah, I see. I forget you're down. They moved you down lower somehow or another. But okay, go ahead.
Not much to talk about. We've basically moved the classes online for this, trying to use, like for the CNC stuff, we've using the Siemens Sinew Train for hear students work on this, and then we'll be on Zoom every day during normal class hours to try to work you guys through it and help. And we're gonna try to do as much as we can online over the summer until they call, yes, you can go ahead and go back to work, and then we'll figure out the best way to do it then. And it's basically what everybody else is doing. So not much news from our end. Some of the stuff we'll just have to make up when we finally get back to go back. I'm going to have to give some of my students a incomplete and make it up, simply because if I'm running a CNC operator course, I got to see you actually operate the machine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that going on. A lot of it with final projects and such. Thank God I bought a bunch of simulation, and everything I've got has some variety of simulation with it. So that's why I'm going to be a little easier to do. But yeah, that's a big one for all of us, I'm sure. Yeah, good. Hey, do you guys had a statics class, I think, when I was down there, and you guys had a piece of equipment that tested like members, so you could find your zero force members and things like that. Do y'all still have that equipment?
Braid, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering if you did. I'd like to get information on it if you did. If you find out, have someone send me some information on it, because I'd really like to find out what it was. All
Will
right.
do.
Thank you. Nobody from Suncoast, I think, was on last time I checked. Okay, did anybody from St. Johns River get on to do an update? All right, Michael Ramsey, start with you.
I think Greg Lewis also joined, but you guys would have to unmute yourselves to give
I
it
had
up.
Mike down there being on. I don't know. Greg Lewis, you here?
Sam?
Yes.
Brad Jenkins here. Laura Sharp emailed me some information yesterday. So I'd like to give the update. SVC moved all their spring courses to online, and either being done synchronously and some asynchronously. The semester will end on time at St. Pete, but summer courses will be online as well. Enrollment is down significantly for summer. As of right now, the fall classes are scheduled, but they don't know when it will go back to normal. The engineering, technology, and building arts classes went online for spring with only a few hiccups. The college was very supportive and provided laptops and webcams to any student that vocalized a need. SolidWorks and AutoCAD are successfully being taught online. Electronics and mechatronics have been a challenge, but you said the instructors being creative and making kits and sending out to students and trying to maintain some hands-on learning that way.
Yeah.
And the building arts architecture is offering some online CAD tutoring 6 days a week. And the other thing is also in the newspaper here that both the engineering, technology and the architectural areas they did some 3D printing of face shields and respiratory masks for the local hospitals. So there you go.
That's great. Good news.
Bradley, this is Jeff at Miami-Dade. What did you say about the CAD tutoring? Who's doing that?
That's the building arts and architecture people. They're offering live online CAD tutoring 6 days a week.
Okay, that's on your campus.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing with my students. I'm doing it 7 days a week, it seems like. But yeah, that's a good way to do it, just to give them some one-on-one. It's nice when I like Canvas because I can get on there and work one-on-one with them, make it happen. One of the things you mentioned, Brad, was enrollment was down in the ET program. Our overall enrollment went up, but I had several students who just withdrew right after this all happened and said, if I can't be in the classroom, I'm not going to do this. And I'm just going to wait till this COVID is over, and then I'll come back to school, which we don't know when that's going to be.
No.
So it's almost like they've given up, because they can't do this online without some type of interaction, and I'm struggling with that a little bit. So we had about 7 or 8.
Sam, the other thing is that a lot of people are unemployed and they lost their part-time jobs, and that doesn't help either. And I think the other thing.
No. Well, for me, it's they got time to do it now, and they've already paid for everything. But the point of it is, every one of them told me directly, because I contacted every one that wanted to withdraw. I said, man, you're not doing bad in the class. Because I can't get these other pieces done, and I gave them kits to go home with, and I'm showing videos and I'm showing them step by step what to do. They just can't follow. And I just think, you know, telling me that maybe they don't have the aptitude that I thought they had, and they were getting a little more help than I thought they were, but I don't know what the difference is. I can't see, because I'm doing everything I would do in a class online, but they just can't interact for some reason.
Well, it's a little different, and I think that's a discussion topic that we'll do for a future forum. You know, for after action report.
Right. Well, like I use
And
multisim for my electronics, and that works great in multisim, but when they go to build it, they get lost. And that's like a third of their lab grade. So it's just like, you know, I don't know how to handle that right now.
So I've got that down as a
I had
topic.
that as well at FAMU. At FAMU, I have some students that's in the electronics as well, and because they don't have that hands-on piece, they're pretty much just wanted to let the class get a U, this SU thing they're given, and just take it next semester or whenever they do it again. So I try to encourage them to stay in there, you know, as well. It's something about the hands-on piece. Some of them just can't. They need it.
Yeah, and I understand that too. I'm a hands-on person as well. I can see where they're coming from, just trying to figure out how to get around it. But they have the kits, they have everything, but they just can't seem to follow online instruction even from a video. So it's concerning, but we need to know how to get around that.
That'll be a topic, Sam. That'll be a topic discussion next time.
Yep. I agree.
Good.
All right.
Quick
Let's
point
move
I want to
on,
make
unless
on that
somebody else.
topic, though, if I may.
Yep.
I believe the root of it, because I've been teaching synchronous online classes for, I guess, a year and a half now. The root of it is when you're even in a synchronous class, I see my students when I'm lecturing or demonstrating something, and they've got their phones in their hands. And as soon as you're on a screen, they multitask. So only 25 or 33% of their attention is on you and what you're talking about. When they're live in the classroom, they are forced against their will to give you 100% of their attention.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've had to start doing is in Canvas Conference, use the quiz.
Right. I've done that too. I've lost your audio, Margie. I don't know what happened.
I got an egg timer. Every 5 minutes, they got a quiz question. And they know the quiz question is coming, and they're getting a grade. Increase their level of attention.
Okay, great. Well, that's something we need to add in for the next or next couple of ET forums. We need to find out, because we may have to do more of this moving forward. So we need to prepare for it. I believe in building some kits, and I believe in you know, trying to figure out how to bring them in on small groups and things like that, because I don't know what else we can do. I agree with you, Margie. Agree with you 100%. All right, State College of Florida. Does anybody show up from there to give an update since we got on? Okay, Tallahassee Community College. Gideon, you want to say something?
Yes, you know, it's been a challenging 5 years for us. So we are in the process of searching for a new dean, and we just had a new provost who has expressed willingness to support our program, and currently the VP academics who is acting as our temporary dean pending, you know, when we get a new dean, you know, has also expressed willingness to support us in the ET program. The last dean and the last provost obviously put us in a difficult situation. So I hope we're gonna get somebody that will be able to give us full support that we need. But currently our ET program is still up and running. With the situation right now, we kind of moved all our courses to what we call TCC Live, and whereby we're kind of providing alternative version to any of all of our practicals. So I'm hoping that it's gonna get better from here.
Great, excellent. Thanks a lot, Gideon. All right, Andrew, you have anything for South Florida, or if Richard come on? I don't know if he's on or not.
From USF?
Yeah, USF.
I don't think
Andrew Hoff.
Sam, we need to go back.
Okay.
Sam?
We have similar issues with enrollments in the summertime here. But the online courses are going reasonably well, but we share everybody else's opinion about the attention span.
Okay.
So we need to also, since Drew was right there, make sure we proceed with the ideas that we worked on in the real in-person forum last time for the proposals to NSF/HEE in the fall. I think they will be in a situation where they do have funds, and if we have a reasonable proposal that it will work. The key there is the 2-year college. One of the state colleges has to be a prime player.
I think some of you, maybe Sam and Stacy, were working with you guys already, so maybe you can pick that back up with some virtual meetings.
Whatever you need, you guys call me. I'll be glad to help.
Well,
okay, thanks, Sam.
So listen,
Sam, the help part is good. What we do need is specific colleges to really indicate that they are going to be involved in the project at the co-PI level. So that requires not just responding to help issues as we go through the project, but being part of the leadership team.
Right,
Definitely
meetings,
let me
et
know.
cetera. We're going to have meetings. We're going to have to be pushing agendas and such like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Tracy is already committed and last fall, and unfortunately, although an old codger, I still have memory, and I know he's excited about doing it as well.
Great. You guys decide what you want to do. I'll be any way I can help. I'll jump in if I need to.
Well, it's not need to. You have to really want to.
Yeah. No, I think what we're doing is good. It's just going to be good. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
All right. What did you want to go back to, Marilyn?
Brian Cam is on. So can we check in with him? He didn't get to give his update last time. Okay. Brian, are you there? Well, we can't hear you, Brian. Are you muted? Let's see. I don't see Brian now.
I don't know. Well, we need to move on, I think, right? If he comes on, just let me know and I'll go back to him.
I see Brian Cam, but he is muted.
Can you unmute him?
For some reason, I can't. I can make it a presenter.
I don't know that will make him unmuted though. He's not muted on my screen. Brian, are you there? Shoot. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead, Sam. He did send.
We basically only have one more at Valencia College is the last one. So is Radu, you still there?
Yes, I'm here. But I think Paul has a better view of the whole process.
What's that?
Hey, yeah, Radu, I'll go to you. You can talk about the lab stuff that you're doing. First,
yes.
is James McDonald here or Kevin Curley?
No.
Okay.
Who is this speaking? I don't even know who's speaking.
Paul Wilder.
Oh, Paul. Okay.
So we've got a few things going on. We've, of course, like everybody, we've transitioned to online. One of the things that we're doing to support that is that we've created virtual labs in teams. All of our lab assistants and lab managers have put that together so that they're online and able to tutor and help students throughout the process on a scheduled area, and they log in, they log out, so students know when tutors are there, and it's working out pretty well so far. We have made some great progress with our energy management controls technology program lab. We're coming hopefully close to finishing that up and should have that online fairly quickly. And so we're excited about that. And of course, Kevin Curley is a new addition to the ET program down in the Osceola campus that James has been working on very diligently, the supply chain engineering technology program. And then finally, we had talked about the pending ABET visit last fall when we met at Seminole, and we went through our inaugural visit, and we had 0 findings. So we're excited about that process. We're excited about the accreditation action that's pending now for us. We are pretty sure that we'll be accredited before too long, and so we're very excited about that. I want to give a shout out to Ron Eaglin for his counsel on that process. Thanks, Ron. And I think that wraps it up for me. Radu, do you want to say anything about the labs and your plan for the summer?
Yes, for the labs, we try to order the trainers besides the kits. So we have the trainers, the kits, and the digital multimeters. So that way, for the classes like digital and DC, we can do some labs with the students at home. However, we're running a process with Elenco. Elenco doesn't have enough quantity in stock. They try to put it together. Hopefully, we'll have it by the beginning of the semester of the summer.
Okay, great. Paul, can I ask you one more question?
Sure. Go ahead.
When you get the accreditation, and probably Ron can chime in on this, it backs up to the day you applied, right?
You can actually have now they have a retro. Yes, the answer is yes, but they now have a process where you can actually go back an extra year retroactively if you provide the material. See, it was our inaugural one, and so we weren't coming out of being accredited. So yes, it backs up, and we provided all the material we needed to go back the extra year, and so we're doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll actually they will do the announcement in the July meeting, and what typically happens there is they'll tell you the date at which the accreditation for students that are considered to be graduated from an accredited program starts.
Okay.
And normally that will go back. It will go back at least a year. Sometimes they've made the decision to go back even further than that. 2 years is relatively rare, but it's based on their assessment of how well the students met the outcomes prior to the year of the accreditation and the self-study.
Okay.
And if you've got a good program, I mean, it usually comes out very well.
Yeah.
So
I have some students that are moving into Orlando to go to work, and they want to do a bachelor's program. And I said, well, you want ABET accredited, so you need to go to Valencia to finish off your ET because you're right there. I was hoping that was the case. So now when they go start classes like this year or something, they would be ABET accredited.
Yeah, we're going to be retroactive back to October 1st of 2017
Great.
What I checked to verify that after the fact with ABET. I called.
Okay.
I talked to Frank Hart and also Appleman. I think her name is Appleman, Ashley Appleman.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell, Ron?
Yeah, that's usually Frank is the one. If you hear it from Frank, you know it's happening. So
yeah.
Okay. It's all good then.
Well, yeah, that's great. Marilyn, I'm gonna let it go back to you because I think we're almost out of time on this, aren't we?
Yeah, we have one a new attendee from Embry Riddle who's joined us. I've interacted with them in the last year or so. They were working on a grant project, and Kim has a question. Kim, are you there?
Yes, this is Kimberly Luthi. I'm a faculty member in the College of Aeronautics with Embry Riddle, and I've formerly worked with Paul at Valencia, and then I was also at Daytona State with Ron. But we have a couple of grants that we were running that we are moving all of our curriculum, same as you, online, and we were looking at, we were working with NC3, and we were looking at some of the home kits that we could actually send to the veterans to be able to do the PLCs. So we're just really looking at some of kind of the knockoffs or things that individuals were using outside of more of the bluegrass and bigger equipment we teach on for Festo. So I was curious if any of you had models that you could see sending students for home units. And you may have already discussed this. I apologize for my late entry.
Yeah, some of the equipment can be a little pricey. I have to be real careful what you send home on my end. This is Sam. But I know the well, as far as bluegrass goes, the Easy Veeps are really nice little units to work with. And then on Amatrol has a lot of simulation, and I use their online stuff. So I combination with a bunch of different things. Good, Sam. I think is that still available? So anyway, if you go back out there, you'll find there's a lot of resources, no matter which vendor you use. They've all got great resources. And they keep sending me all kinds of great stuff and the tools to use. So I'm pretty excited about no matter which one you use. So yeah, just keep working with them, and they'll get to you.
All right, Sam, I'd like to try to go back to, thanks, Kim. If anyone has some ideas for those kits, Kim, if you, I do have a contact that might be able to help you. I don't know, but it's not part of this group. It's someone in Minnesota. I'll get that information to you. You can check with them. But I'd like to try one more time for Brian.
Uh-huh.
Good. Oh, it's 10 o'clock.
Are you still with us, Brian? Okay, so I guess not. So we did capture his updates, and it should be a handout in the Google Drive with his updates on the apprentice program that they're doing there on the Space Coast with, again, some of those companies we were going to be able to visit, and maybe we'll be lucky enough to be out of this mess and be able to hold our next forum there in the fall. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip the next, let's see if my machine will work here. Let's see. Skip my updates and go right to, skip through all these and go to our speakers. I'll come back to these if we have time. At the end, we have some updates, some of the specific projects we've had going on around the state. And Margie, you're up with yours from the Florida State University project you've been working with. Just unmute yourself, please. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Can anyone hear Margie?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because my screen is showing I'm muted, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay. I don't see. There we go. PowerPoint slides. Okay. So I'm going to talk super quick. There is a joint Chipola College Florida State University research project going on that is looking at gaps between what we teach and what employers want. You're going to hear much more about that in the fall ET forum, so I'm not going to spend very much time about that at all. But I received a preliminary report back in August, and I've made some pretty significant curriculum changes that Marilyn wanted me to talk about. So here's what I'm going to talk about. There's the agenda. I'll give you a quick 30 seconds to just read through that. I don't read the slides to you, so you need to read them. And I do have a lot of slides, so I'm going to go through them pretty quick. But I will discuss the key points. All right, next slide. Next slide. Next slide.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not hearing everything. Okay.
Okay. So this concept of problem solving and troubleshooting and in general higher order thinking levels requires that we teach and have student assessments and student learning activities at these higher order learning levels. I'm going to discuss, and the FSU project focused on Bloom's taxonomy, specifically in the cognitive domain. So I'm going to do a real quick high point for some of you who may or may not be familiar with Bloom's. But the key takeaway here is this: if you are not providing learning activities and learning assessments at higher order thinking levels in the cognitive domain, you're not going to get technicians who can problem solve and troubleshoot. Next slide. Next slide.
It's just taking a minute to go. There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. So there are actually three domains in Bloom's taxonomy, and I put this up there because I want to briefly mention my big project for next year is beginning to teach in the psychomotor domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Most people have never even heard of that. That is where quote unquote soft skills and ability to learn reside. And I found in my work this year that that was a significant problem. Okay, perfect slide right here. This is actually Bloom's taxonomy, and you'll notice there's 6 learning levels. This is not necessarily a hierarchy of value. Every single learning level is valuable. Every single learning level has a place in curriculum. However, only the top 3 learning levels, evaluation, synthesis, and analysis, are actually what we think of as quote unquote higher order thinking. Synthesis and evaluation is what we think of as being troubleshooting and problem solving. Next slide.
It's coming.
Yeah, no problem. This gives people a chance to read it. Okay. So, an individual discrete learning activity or an individual discrete assessment exists at one and only one of Bloom's learning levels. So if you want to teach a particular skill or a particular piece of knowledge at the analysis level or at the evaluation level, 2 things are true. 1, your assessment method has to be appropriate for that learning level, and your content delivery has to be appropriate for that learning level. The second key takeaway here is what I have in bold. The same strategy does not work at every learning level. Okay, learning objectives, that's perfect. Okay, next slide. Okay, here we go. So you're going to start with learning objectives. Marilyn's got the best definition of what a learning objective is that I've ever heard anywhere, so I quoted her on this. And again, each learning objective corresponds to one of Bloom's learning levels. If you want students to come out of your program being able to do critical thinking, problem solving, and troubleshooting, we must be teaching and assessing at those Bloom's levels with both synchronous and asynchronous activities. And that is what is referred to as intentionality. Every single thing that you do in the classroom and every single thing that students do at home has to be mapped to this concept of the appropriate learning level. All right. And just as I said, when you're not teaching across all of the learning levels, then you're not going to adequately prepare technicians. Next slide. So, and you're going to see where I'm going with this. I know the slides are looking weird. Okay, so let's pause here for a quick second because I want to talk about this. So one of the things that the Chipola FSU Joint Research Project did was they took the engineering technology, advanced manufacturing syllabi for every course for, I believe, a half dozen or more of state colleges who were offering the program. And they analyzed the learning objectives from those syllabi and mapped them to the Bloom's taxonomy cognitive learning level. And the results, and like I said, I got a preview version of that report back in August, and I was pretty stunned and disappointed. Next slide. And they're going to walk you through, their method of analysis and how they did the mapping and so forth. Okay, here's how it was. There's the Bloom taxonomy's level from lowest order thinking skills on the left in the blue to the higher order thinking skills on the right. And remember, critical thinking and problem solving exists on the right in those red, brown, and purple learning objectives. So not only are we not implementing appropriate instruction, we're not even saying we're gonna implement appropriate instruction. Okay, that was kind of quick to go.
I think we lost her.
I don't hear her anymore. She was breaking up a little bit there.
Past that slide. Can we go back to that previous slide just real quick? Are we not able to go
You're
back?
breaking up
there
a
we
lot,
go.
Margie.
Her video just went out too.
Oh, she was on video. I don't see her at all now.
Yeah, I'm
She's
still
gone.
saying she. Yeah, I think she's out. She must got dropped out.
This is an interesting indictment.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I was there when they gave the colleges who participated, they were all the colleges in the Panhandle, those kind of results back, and the faculty first got to look at them. So maybe we'll try to pick this up again in the fall, but you will have these slides in the Google Drive from her presentation. And I think it's an important piece for all of us to think about how we teach and respond to the need for problem solving and troubleshooting, and looking at the frameworks and having analyzed them and seeing that there's really not a lot of even strong verbiage there that would force us to have that kind of assessment for real problem solving and real troubleshooting activities. Hopefully she's not giving her presentation. So Margie, are you back by any chance?
So while we're waiting for her to come back, we should take heart to what was just said. I believe if we collectively, particularly either a subgroup or at a forum, look at the standards and benchmarks with the idea of at least grouping them where they fit into the taxonomy, we can post that information separately so that we all at least know when and where we are staying with it. Following the taxonomy is going to be important if we are going to end up doing more virtual teaching.
Yeah. One of the things this may have a second effect where, we got a lot of 3 credit hour courses, but we want them to do more hands-on. And we can't add any more to our programs, but my biggest problem is we don't have labs with anything, and I mean lab time blocks. So we need to add that into our programs that require hands-on. I mean, we need to even state that, or have I think there is a designation out there on the course where you can say it does have a lab or doesn't have a lab, even though it's 3 credit hours. I think Ron's probably all over that somewhere.
So I just saw a notice. I saw a notice that Margie left. She may be trying to reconnect.
Yeah.
Right.
looking at this slide right now, this looks like what she's actually done in response to that analysis, that
Right.
she's adding some new activities and assessments and
Right.
learning activities in her own program to kind of fill that gap. So these may be some really interesting things we want to see from her. Actually, more details on those activities and assessments that
Right.
follow. So I'm gonna just page through her slides real quickly, and then let you go and take a look at them, and we can obviously send her some questions. So.
Okay.
So this is a great comment on her taking the data that she got from a study and then acting on it. I mean, sometimes we're slow to respond to information. We respond by just saying, oh, that's really interesting, I need to change that. And so I'm quite impressed with her action after getting these results and seeing that she wasn't really addressing some of these higher level skills in her program. So I guess here's some of those she was going to talk about. And so let's briefly look through these results, review this year's
Oh, it says she's back.
results. Traditional students were struggling initially with analysis and learning. Oops, what happened there?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry
Hey.
about that. I don't know what happened. GoToMeeting just dumped me out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the storms have left everything. So I talked my way through up to the
Okay.
results. Do a lot of kudos for following up on research results that impacted your program. So kudos for that.
And so the parting comment I want to make then is that, and you saw the pictures of the hand, what I call my handmade trainers. Scaffolding is critical, and what I found is that now, and do not take this as a disendorsement. I love my Amatrol trainers. I love my Amatrol curriculum. I've taught with IntelliTrek trainers, and I really love IntelliTrek trainers. I've taught with the LabVolt trainers, and I really love the LabVolt trainers and the curriculum. They have a definite role in scaffolding. But if that's all you've got, then you are not delivering instruction at those higher order learning levels. Even if you've got a trainer who's labeled a quote unquote troubleshooting trainer, they are not delivering higher order thinking and analysis and evaluation learning levels. And one of the things that I found in my results, yeah, there's a picture of the handmade trainer, and that's the bunch of stuff for AC/DC circuits class. What I had students do was repeat the exact same labs that they had done on Amatrol trainers with a step-by-step curriculum and just say, hey, you already did this lab once, do it again, but here's a box of parts, go do it. And they massively struggled with the unstructured nature of that. And that's because you're requiring them to move up higher to that next higher or 2 levels up of learning. And I found my non-traditional students were with practice and with instructor collaboration and the tapering, or what is officially referred to as fading in the instructor support in the scaffolding. They were able to do the learning and transition into the higher order thinking. My traditional students, I got to be honest with you, I never got them to the point where they could do labs like this independently without a pretty significant amount of instructor collaboration. And I think that speaks to a fundamental lack of building any kind of critical thinking at all at any level in our K through 12 system, which is why my project for next year is moving into Bloom's psychomotor domain. I got to explicitly teach students how to think. That's it.
So did we
Carolyn,
kind of
I
cover
think
these now?
Yeah, this is Sam. I think the key behind this, what I got out of this, and I agree with Margie 100%, is the fact that if we use a trainer, a lot of them are just plug and chug. There's no physical wiring and
Yep.
tightening screws on a piece of wire or anything. So some of the trainers I have actually does that. And I think if you have the physical connections and not just plug and chug, and I look at the ones that you plug in with the banana clips as more or less a demonstrator, for lack of a better word. I treat them as demonstrators. Everything I has a build component where they have to physically pull the parts together, build it, make the changes. And I think that's where we got to head a little deeper into. I'm doing it, but probably not at the level of what Margie's saying. And I like this. I think this is going to be huge.
And I'm
Right.
gonna give you a warning. So Sam's lab and my lab at Chipola and my lab when I was back at FGC, we have the trainers and then we have just a whole lot of other stuff, and McMaster Carr is your friend. But I
Yeah.
gotta warn you, educationally, it's really outstanding stuff. From an administration perspective, they walk in the lab and they see like a box of wires everywhere and parts and stuff like that, and they freak out and they go, "Oh, it's so messy in here." And so don't let your administrators, um, the trainers look super sexy, man. They are great, and they're great on a lab tour when they bring business people in or something like that. But get over the idea that your lab's got to be clean and your lab's got to be all put away and stuff. You're going to have cabinets full of loose parts, and when students have projects in the works, it's going to look a little messy, and that's when they're really functioning at those top 2 or 3 Bloom's learning levels. And from a cost standpoint, I put my hand-built little electrical trainer that you saw the photo of. I got $150 in that rack with
Yeah.
the 80/20 bar and stuff like that, and I have probably $250 in all of those electrical components. So this is a cheap add-on. You should be able to do this from budget.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
we're going to have to move on, Sam, to our next
Yep.
topic.
Let's go.
Thanks, Margie. This was really great, and hopefully we'll get a chance to maybe do some more practice on this going forward, because I think all of us need this, and it will also inform our review of the frameworks the next time, perhaps. Ron, are you?
I am here.
You're here. Okay.
So one of the things that has been a question I know for quite a few of the folks out there was our engineering and science framework. And it actually, this one spawned from a need that we had identified in curriculum alignment. So because we've got a number of students that, okay, so let's look at it this way. The students move from the ASET typically in 2 directions. One is towards a bachelor's degree in engineering technology, but the other direction that they go is also towards degrees in engineering. And I know for our program, the bachelor's level, a lot of students are heading towards master's degrees. So what we've built into the curriculum itself at the bachelor's level is a tremendous amount of flexibility so that they can choose the directions they're going. But what we're looking at here is this concept of an engineering and science framework, which is a new framework which allows the students to continue on into an engineering program. You can go next. So we've been working on this. To do it, obviously, you have to write a framework. And what we did is we really just built the framework around the ABET engineering standards. So these follow very tightly the ABET outcomes. At a high level, these aren't really written very well as outcomes, but at a high level as standards, they work out quite well. You can go next. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of delve into each one of those. So if you looked at each individual one, obviously you need to put together the the information. You basically need to put together all the substandards that go with this, and these. One of the questions I'm going to ask later on is how well do these meet the needs of our business community? But if you look at what our expectations are in these outcomes, and we're actually using, we're going to be building programs around these. These do offer a really good baseline of things that you would have an expectation to do. So like, 1.03, prepare, outline, and deliver an oral presentation. Well, that is a fairly heavy expectation of our students that they would have that capability of doing that, or any student moving into any of these technical careers. You can go next one. So I'm just going to cover each of I just want you to take a look at these. We can move through. I'm going to leave them just up for a second so you can look at them. Next. And after this last presentation, I do need to move a lot of these up into higher level skills by basically applying a little bit higher level of Bloom's taxonomy. But this is a 2-year AS program that is preparing students for the next 2 years to be able to go into ET or engineering. They should be able to go both directions. Next one. Now, if you notice, they're very also open-ended, and the reason, and also very, very broad, but the reason for the broadness is that, again, we're looking at making sure our students have the ability to go both directions. And 6, and then of course there's 7. So what I'm really getting to is the questions at the, did I put that last slide, Marilyn, at there was one more slide that was between 6 and future of ET, or it might have gone to the end of the.
Let me see. I don't know what happened there. No, what's going on? That's the beginning. Oh, somehow that beginning slide.
Okay, so one of the things that, this is all in draft format. So what needs to happen is we need to make sure that these align with a number of things. One is CLNA, because we are looking at an associate's level program, and that they actually put a focus towards the demand occupations that are out there, and they align with the needs of the local businesses. So right now in the draft, everything is general and broad. However, we're going to have to start putting in outcomes, especially in the ones that are talking about technical capabilities that go beyond broad. And that'll give them some overlap. The overlap would be with the engineering and the engineering technology program outcomes that we currently have. So, anyway, that's where we're going with that. In the end, it would be a degree that would look very much like a pre-engineering degree, because you've got a lot of basic fundamental mathematics and science that the students have to know before they move forward from that program. So, we're looking at, but it's funny because Sam, it looks a lot like the way that you structured your program, so that the students have that flexibility of picking up the upper level calculus and classes that they need. What it does give us is the capability of locking down and saying, hey, you've got to have calculus. Calculus is considered the ability to do problem solving at the level of calculus is necessity, or the next level up, which would be the ability to do it through differential equations, which is an extension of the calculus. So we've got that ability to define those levels. When we talk about ability to apply physics principles, I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience because I have a very good background in science and physics. When people come to me and say, I want to do this, and their design or ideas violate the fundamental rules of physics or chemistry or whatever, because I've got that strong background, I know right off the bat, this is a bad idea or a good idea. I mean, I get plenty of people that design perpetual motion machines all the time. Guess what? It ain't gonna work. But but that's because I have that solid background in the physics to understand when people are doing this, and they don't. So this is something that has served me extremely well, but I can see that the demand for people who have that just gut level understanding of the science, the ability to apply through the mathematics is something that is needed out there. So we're in the writing stages of this. We want to move it forward. I haven't devoted as much time to it as I should have, but I do plan on moving forward. So anyway, that's where we're going with that. But it does give the ability to create an AS degree that can cover those fundamentals and move students forward in a flexible AS to BS style program. So that's that one. And then the next slide, which is just kind of a totally different side project. And this is definitely worth discussion. I went to the CIEC and I went to all the engineering technology meetings and the engineering technology, the engineering technology, well, basically ET meetings. So go back to that. So whoops, no, wait, before, okay. So the number one thing that they're looking at the national level is this PE licensure, because one of the things that has happened is we've gotten more states to accept engineering, ABET accredited engineering students to get PE. And of course, everybody knows in the state of Florida, we did get that. But it also puts kind of a burden on us that we need to follow, which is the ability to make sure that the students can get to that level of being a PE, which means that, guess what? They need to pass the fundamentals of engineering. So the FE exam is really based upon the engineering fundamental courses, which would be your thermodynamics, your statics, your dynamics, and principles of engineering econ, all at the calculus or differential equation level. So what we have done in the program that at least at Daytona State, is you have an option of taking thermodynamics, which is the engineering thermodynamics, or taking energy systems, which is taught more as an engineering technology class, but the students have that flexibility of going one direction or the other. We do require in RBSET the standard statics, dynamics, this is the engineering statics, dynamics, and engineering econ. And the reason is, well, one is those are fairly good fundamental classes to have, but the other one is that because these students are going to probably be progressing at some time, wanting to go and get their professional engineer. They don't know it necessarily at the time that they're going through school, but they always come back later and say, hey, I can make all this extra money if I get licensed. So what do I need to do? Well, the process is that you've got to be able to get through the FE exam, and you need those fundamental classes that give you at least a head start being ready to pass the FE, which are those, by the way, the three fundamental classes for that really are the, well, the introduction to electronics is important, but in thermo, those thermo questions are standard heat engine questions that we cover and we can cover in other classes, but those calculus-based statics, dynamics, and engineering econ questions are the ones that most people struggle with. So anyway, that's what we see that's what we've been seeing at the national priority, and this is what we're actually doing to address that national priority. So we're making decisions based on ensuring that our students have a good path to PE licensure. So that's where we're at.
Thanks, Ron. That's great. I know we've been working on this and through this for a while, and look forward to getting the frameworks shored up and on to Bob Blevins and others at the Department of Education. I'm not sure it goes in the manufacturing cluster, but we'll find that out.
Also, wait a minute, I have something to say. Ron?
Yeah.
Ron?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you know, the I think we got emailed from Pat Fox, the past ETC chair, about the status of engineering technology. You know, they're looking at there's a group looking at the future of engineering technology, and the ETC is generally run by the folks at the universities with their 4-year programs, and so there's been a lot of talk about even the using the applied engineering instead of engineering technology, and there's some sort of research, some sort of action that folks are looking at with the future of engineering technology. And that, I think that's a topic that I think we need to discuss for the fall forum, as we see it from our standpoint here in Florida, with so many of us with the AS degree programs. I don't think there's not, to my knowledge, anybody that is part of the ETC in the state. Are you part of the ETC or not?
I'm part of the ETC, so I could participate more, but
okay, we can put it on the agenda for the next time, and also maybe do some more research. But unfortunately, we're going to have to move on to. We've got 2 more people before 11 o'clock.
Sure.
I don't have quite as much flexibility with our schedule.
No, that's fine.
So
go ahead.
I'd like to move on to Dante now. Uh-oh. You ready, Dante? Did we lose him?
You might be muted.
Yeah, Dante, your mic is muted.
Okay, is that better now?
Yes.
Can you hear? Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a brief overview of this new program, the FAME program that we are going to start here in the fall. Give you a brief overview of the history and open up the floor for questions and discussion. Basically, this is a work-based learning program, and what we're trying to do is work with industry to develop a competent manufacturing technician. So what is FAME? FAME stands for Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. The AMT is the particular name of this program, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Technician. This program started around around 2005 in Kentucky, because Toyota has plants there, and it was a joint venture between Toyota and the local colleges. What happens is every Toyota plant set up a system here together with a college and also with some local employers, and develop a system. And then let's go to the slide here. The system has grown along the eastern seaboard of the United States, and you can see all the states that are involved. You can see about 31 colleges, 2 or 3 universities, and then it's about a total of 300 employers. And down here in the corner, we're Daytona here, which is the first team in the state. And the majority are in the Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. Next slide, please. So how does it work? Basically, the way it works is the students enroll in an AS degree, and they're interviewed, and they're sponsored by a particular company in your service area. Once they get admitted, they go to school 2 days a week, and then they go to work 3 days a week. So that means that the schedule is compressed. It's not compressed at the time. It's going to be the same time, but everything happens in 2 days. So it's an 8-day a week, 8-hour day, which basically means they start at 8 o'clock, they take classes, and until 5 o'clock, and then they go to work the next day. The other important characteristic is that the students progress as a cohort, so they don't have any choice about what kind of genetics they're going to take or what classes they're going to take. Everybody takes all the same course, and they move in 5 semesters in order to finish. And they also need to meet attendance and academic expectations. I mean, the 2.0 GPA is important, 2.0 in every single class, and they also get attendance points. Next slide. Good. So this gives you a quick overview of how it works. So I think you can read this. So everything is on the top is your typical first semester, second semester through fifth semester. The first layer is your gen ed, which varies from college to college. The technical core is the technical core of your existing AS degree. And then what happens is the lower level layers are actually the Toyota specific or the FAME specific content. The distinguished characteristic is what you see towards the bottom. Each semester has a theme. So for example, the first semester, they focus on safety. The other semester is the 5 S's. The next semester is a TPS, which is basically lean manufacturing. Then they do problem solving, which includes quality. And then they do machine reliability, which includes productivity. And then at the bottom layer is what you call the affective domain, which is basically the behaviors. They call it professional behaviors, which is basically rounds up everything that has to do with soft skills, which is a major issue of contention with the industry. So you can see at the very bottom, you can see the professional behaviors that emphasize every single day, which is your attendance, your initiative, diligence, personal relations, teamwork, and communication. Next slide, please. So how are we going to do this in Daytona State? We have several meetings with our founding committee, and it's going to be based on our ASET. We call it the mechatronics specialization. In the frameworks, I think the name is advanced manufacturing, and then it's going to be hosted in our ATC. The Gen Eds were selected jointly with our business partners. And then through Title III, we were able to get a full-time advisor dedicated to this program. This person is already being hired, it starts on May the 1st, and she's gonna have a dual duty, which is recruit the students and also develop additional placement opportunities for the FAME students. Next slide, please.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any
So,
questions?
This is Sam. I do have a question. This reminds me of just a basic federal apprenticeship program. I don't see the difference other than a few minor things dedicated to Toyota that they may want to have. But I mean, why did you select this particular program versus another one with another company? I mean, what was the beauty of this one versus something else?
Well, the beauty is that you have a humongous network of colleges that have been through the same experience, and they're all very helpful. So that was part of the thing I did in the presentation.
I'm going to tell you, there's so many of these out there with a lot of colleges doing these different ones. They have a lot of support in a lot of these programs. I just don't understand what the difference between this one is to anything else that's out there. That's why is it just because some of it's specific to Toyota that may not be used in our local manufacturing?
Sam, it's not really specific to Toyota. They started it, but the expansion of this beyond Toyota happened pretty fast, and it went down to their suppliers and to other regional industries. So
the key
difference that I see in this, I've been to several colleges that are doing this. This particular program, it does have a lot of apprenticeship feel to it and characteristics. However, since it's not an apprenticeship, we don't run into the tuition payment issue, which we know is an issue even in Florida, paying for the related instruction. You know, we don't get any tuition money for that in the state. But also the really big thing that I like and that I've observed is that the school day maps right into the work day. So the students take their classes like they're at work. They go from 8 to 5, just like they would go to their work shift, for a regular day. And it's taught the pedagogy that the instructors get from their training for this. That's what one of the things Dante was referring to, embeds those professional skills in a very structured way, just like they would do at work. So they have team meetings on their school days. They have to do the transition between shift conversations and focusing on those different skills that are assigned to each semester. So there's not much difference between their day at work and their day at school as far as the format goes. So they're really getting reinforced on the habits of being at work and not, come to school and class isn't until 10 o'clock. That's not the case. It's very much the same as their day at work. So those are two of the
I think this is great. I like. The problem I'm having with it is 100% almost of my students are already working in some company that's providing all that. And then they're coming in and they want the technical skills. So it's almost like everybody's in an apprenticeship program at this point. And what I'm looking at is, if I was looking at anything right now, I want to see what the IRAP is going to be for the state of Florida, because that's more catered to the particular company that's going around. It's not this trying to put this framework into a company that may not need this, all this. And I don't know how modified this could be. So this may be something we can do later.
That's a good point. And that's a good point. This is not driven by the colleges. So the way it started with us is the companies came to us because they had an idea, because of many of our companies have more than one location in different states, and the work is getting around. So this doesn't go without a very committed and driven manufacturers council. It's not going to follow. It's not going to go through. So they came to us and they tell us, we need this. It looks like this is going to be able to work here. Can we make it happen? And that's the reason we went with it, because it was a good opportunity. But on the other hand, you got a good point about the Toyota content. It's moving really fast because the person that founded this is going to retire. So now this is under the National Manufacturers Association. So now the fame belongs under the EMI, which is a manufacturing institute. So they're moving ahead. They have hired a national director for this FAME program, and they're going to start scrubbing all the Toyota content out of the curriculum and expand it to different states. So it's morphing as you go along. It's really morphing, and then it's not going to be Toyota specific. And then if you talk to the different colleges, as I did, each college has some flavor of it. It all depends on who is their partner on the other side. And what kind of
it is flexible then. That's what I was wanting to figure out. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you can
places where there's no automotive.
That makes sense.
Companies.
Well, somebody may not be adhering to lean and they're doing something else, or that's why I was saying we can modify it to fit whatever the local needs are. Then that's perfect.
Exactly. Every local manufacturer chapter determines together with their college what kind of flavor they're going to have or what kind of focus they're going to have on the training. All right.
Got it.
Good. Any other questions? Good questions. Good questions. Any other questions, comments?
I do have one question. This is Maury. I believe this will work only when there is a large company around and has constant demand for preparing these technicians, because when you are tailoring, when you are pushing a student's enrollment into a particular semester and follow the same path, you definitely need enough enrollment to offer this program. If there is a company that 1 year needs 2 students or 3 students, it's not going to work. And if the following year doesn't need anything, and that's going to be a big problem.
And so
that is a very good point. This is a very good point. See, when I look at all the other places, is it takes about 3 years to ramp it up. The key here is to have a chapter that has enough companies that you can have at least a cohort. All the colleges I talk to, at the end of 3 years, they have a solid cohort of 20 people every fall. So this starts every fall, once a year. But it all depends on how many members you have in each chapter. So really, you don't need a heavyweight to get this running. What you need is a committed group of people. They're going to tell you, we have 5 companies, we have 10 companies, or even more than that. On our case, we're going to rely with the VMA, which is the Volusia Manufacturers Association. It has about 600 member companies, and we're going to market this program to them. So in doing that, you are in the position to have probably more jobs than students, which is sometimes is the case in some of the chapters.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here, Maury. It's you know, they do build. Again, I visited a couple of these programs and talked to the instructors. It takes a little while, but the employer group is quite official. They have some very specific tasks they're supposed to do, and they are supposed to be engaged in the recruiting events for the student. So this is a great opportunity. Another great thing about this program is that they are engaged in recruiting, and we all know that having students listen to companies about what they do in their jobs makes a lot of difference from us talking to them about the kinds of jobs they can get. So the engagement of the employers is quite high, and they are engaged right from the initial recruitment. They do the interviews of the potential students. So in that case, it's like an apprenticeship, and then, you know, hire the students, and then they get into the program. So there is a selection. It doesn't work for non-traditional students. The many non-traditional students we have that are, you know, already working, like Sam mentioned, that it doesn't really work for them unless they decide to go into the program, because they do get paid for regular wage for a 40-hour week while they're going to school and working.
Yeah,
That
I do have. Yeah, I understand. I do have one more question. Any part of OJT is going to be reviewed or giving credit for OJT? How does that work?
No, they don't get credit for that. It's just like they're working and going to school. They're taking their regular load at school and registering for classes. And in between, you know, their time when they're not in class, they're working. They just work the schedule so that they have a full 2 full days of class every semester, and then 3 days of work. So they put all the classes on those 2 days.
Yeah, the only thing, Maury, is what you're saying is a lot of the apprenticeship programs that are out there have clock hours. You have to have so many clock hours at the plant, so many credit hours at the college, and it's a combination of the two. For some people, it can take as much as 5 or 6 years to get through, and others that have some skills coming in, they can, cut that time down based on what classes they've already had or time on the job they can prove they've done. And I think this program sounds like it's flexible enough to handle any of that. The way it looks, anyway. Yeah.
We're gonna have to,
This is not a register.
close this
No,
conversation
it's
and
not
move.
registered, but it looks like whatever you bring in, it would fit, it would mold to whatever you want. Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't see, this was at the end, or got mixed up, I guess.
Oh yeah, this is the way we're going to do it.
It'll be in the slide collection. We need to give Lakshmi some time, and we've already cut her out of 5 minutes of her time. So hopefully everyone can stay on. Lakshmi, are you ready?
I am ready. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to have a chance to share a little bit about the project this morning. So what I'd like to do is go over some results from an analysis we've been working on related to student characteristics and their experiences in the technician education programs, as well as talk a little bit about our current work and what we have planned for this spring and summer. So, there's basically two projects at play here. There's PathTech Life, which is a large survey that involves 3,216 students in technician education programs across the United States and involves 96 different two-year colleges. And then what we did for our second project is we took a subset of the survey group, 96 students, and we are conducting in-depth interviews with them on a longitudinal basis, meaning we spoke with them last year, we'll be speaking with them again this year and next year, and we're following them in their transition into the workforce and learning a lot about the connections between educational programs and success in industry. So today I wanted to actually just go over a little bit. Actually, could you go to the previous slide for a second, Marilyn? we all know how diverse our student body is. And just so you know, I feel like our survey sample reflects this diversity as well. It was about 20% women, 30% racial ethnic minorities, 10% reported disabilities, and the age range of students who took the survey went from 18 all the way to 65 and older. And we also, in our data, see that students are often termed or categorized as "quote unquote" non-traditional because while they're taking classes, they're simultaneously, working, have family obligations, and so many of them have very full and challenging lives. They're juggling and balancing a lot. The people who participated in the survey, about half were in engineering technology programs, 19% were in energy and environmental technology programs, about 20% in advanced manufacturing programs, and then we had a much smaller number who reported being in micro nano programs, and 20% who called themselves other. As we've looked at that a little bit more, the quote unquote others seem to be students who actually are there interested in maybe like a variety of STEM fields. Some go on to four-year programs, others enter the workforce in a STEM-related field, seemingly. So these are people who are taking classes offered in AS programs, but may not be either degree seeking or fully identifying in one of these programs. Okay, I'm ready for the next slide. Thank you. So one of the survey questions was, did the following have a positive or negative effect on your experience as a student at blank college, or no effect at all? And some of the characteristics they could check off were age, marital status, having children, gender, and race ethnicity. And they were asked to, sort of rate that positive, negative, or no effect. And then we asked an open-ended question where we said, please briefly describe the effects of these characteristics on your experience as a student at blank college. So within our survey sample of, over 3,000 students, actually over 1,000 students chose to write in a response to the open-ended question. So that's really quite a bit of data, and people had a lot to say. So I wanted to sort of share some excerpts from these responses that kind of represent the spectrum of thoughts and feelings expressed. And I think what it really shows is, diversity is just not by way of characteristics, but really how people experience their programs. Like even within groups, there was really quite a bit of variation. Okay, next slide, please. So on the topic of age, non-traditionally aged students shared both positive and negative comments. So for example, one student stated, I had more life experience, which made me more focused on what was important in class and in life. I took on more roles that involved leadership, including team building exercises and being a teacher's assistant. Okay, and then we had another student say, being an older student who had never been successful in the academic environment, it was extremely stressful as well as difficult for the first year and a half when I originally enrolled in classes. And then finally, we have another comment here. I was rudely told one day I was too old to be in college. And so you can see these three statements kind of capture really different kinds of responses and experiences in terms of how students feel their age is kind of impacting in some way their experience in the program. We had everything from very positive statements where, students say, it's because of my age that I'm doing great in this program. Like, I get it. I understand why this is important. I'm really motivated to complete this program and do well. On the other hand, we had some people who said this was hard. It was, it was really hard to keep up. And then we had some people who outright just felt stigmatized. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so on the gender issue, we had some women in the program who felt really positively about being kind of a, underrepresented group in their classes oftentimes. But unfortunately, really the vast majority of comments provided were really rather troubling. So the first comment here, I think my gender has been a positive thing since there are so few women in the program. I tend to stand out, which is usually a good thing in college. And, we had other students say that, they were eligible for certain kinds of scholarships and special programs and internships related to women in STEM. And, they really found that gender only went in their favor, giving them more opportunities. So another comment, unfortunately, in one class, I was the only girl. Not only that, but I was also the youngest in the class. I had some comments from a few guys that made me angry. However, I stayed in the course and still got an A. In my engineering class during labs, I was always given tasks like write this because you have nice handwriting or something simple. I was never allowed to actually work on our project. It wasn't until a guy was stuck on how to get an answer that I was included. It was sad to see how shocked they were that I knew how to do simple calculus problems. It didn't stop me. I'm excited to prove them all wrong. So you can see in this comment, there's a sense of empowerment, a sense of I'm taking on this challenge and just watch me. And that sentiment was expressed throughout the comments as well in answer to this question. So then it kind of gets a little bit more negative. So one student said instructors sometimes do the work for me rather than watch me go slowly or rather than explain it. Another student commented, I am very often the only female, the only person of color or both in many of my classes, and it is incredibly isolating sometimes. It makes classes that require group work that much more difficult because of the added stress of trying to find someone who wants to break their social groups to let me work with them. And then finally, let's see here. I can't see the bottom. Hold on, let me see. Okay, being a straight female in the automotive program. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay, being a straight female.
We're going to have to.
I'm sorry, Marilyn, I didn't hear you. Could you go ahead?
No, I was going to say, I'm not sure we're going to have time to read all of the quotes specifically. So you might just have to kind of summarize and give the audience a time to, it's like 2 minutes to 11. And so we're going to have to move really quickly through what you've got left here.
Okay, so basically, in terms of gender, there was just another case where someone actually had to file a police report because of being harassed and assaulted and, by our classmates. In terms of family, there was really a variety of issues expressed from, children serving as a motivator for trying to continue in school and be a role model, to the challenges of arranging childcare for single parents when children aren't allowed in the labs and parents need to get their homework done, being away from home a lot, but also, feeling supported by their families. I think in terms of school work-life balance, there was just, a lot of stress that students expressed in terms of trying to, nurture not only their selves as students, but being in relationships and for children and other family members. So anyway, concluding thoughts, these findings basically really give us a sense of the spectrum of unique experiences and challenges that the diverse student body in advanced technology programs experience. And, just maybe gives us some food for thought for what kinds of institutional and program supports we can offer. So I guess in just 1 minute, I want to give you a quick update on where we're at right now. So in our LISTEN study, so this is the longitudinal interview study, we completed the 96 interviews in 2019. There's a full analysis underway. We had reported on some preliminary findings at the ET Forum last fall, and now we're going much deeper with that analysis. And in addition, we will be starting a second wave of data collection, probably within just the coming weeks. And we're going to specifically talk with our sample, talk with the people we spoke with last summer about the impact of COVID, and in particular, not just the impact on them personally, hoping and praying everybody is well, but on their community and how this has impacted their work, and have they been able to work remotely? Has their job been deemed essential? If they are working remotely, are they having connectivity issues? Have people been furloughed or lost their jobs? Have they been able to access unemployment benefits? How are they managing in this challenging time? We also plan to ask them about care work that they're involved in. We know that from just, media reports, it's a lot for everybody to be kind of managing, family and work, and possibly even, continuing to take classes all from home when, you're just not as, connected to a variety of resources. And then we also plan to just kind of ask them a little bit about what they kind of anticipate going forward in terms of managing the current situation. And so that is like an overview of what we've been working on, and thank you for your time and wishing everybody well.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Any quick questions for Lakshmi on her work? We spent a long time discussing it, I know, at Seminole State 6 months ago. Any follow-up questions? Let's see, what did I do here? I went backwards. Oh, we weren't going to do this guy. Okay. So I'm going to, I guess I could turn it back to Sam, but we do have I will in a second, we do have a survey for today's, that I think Liz is putting in the chat box, but you'll also get an email. So please respond to us and tell us about your virtual experience with the virtual forum. I did see a few other folks come in, and sorry we didn't get to recognize you as you came in later, but thank you, Maury, for piping in and representing Polk College. I didn't get to do the updates I had for FLATE. They're just, I'd like to just announce our post-secondary educator of the year, who hasn't gotten, it's been named in our newsletter, but we haven't made an official announcement to anyone. So Alan Zuby may still be on the call. I would like to congratulate him as our post-secondary winner, and Shannon Guzman at Chromalloy as our industry or community supporter and partner as that person. So so that was in there. I want to remind everyone that in the Google Drive and also on our website and wiki page are the 5-year trend enrollment report for engineering technology and related studies. We've just finished that and posted those along with the FET-PIP data and some analysis on that for the engineering technology program. So those documents are available for you to look at, and I'm sorry we didn't get to spend a little time talking about them, and maybe we'll get to do that in person in the fall. I think that was all I had on my little report from FLATE, so that was pretty quick. Sam?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we all thank our vendors for coming in. They didn't have to be here, but they made the challenge to come in here, and remember, they're here to support you. Go to your local vendor, ask for help if you need it. That's a big one. So thank you, guys.
Brad, anything? Close out.
I just want to say this, Maury. I just want to say that I did try from the beginning to come in, but I had difficulty. The web didn't allow me, and there was a lot of echoes on the audios. And
I think we're
also,
all struggling a bit.
yeah, I also, if you don't mind, I want to put something as a housekeeping for next fall forum to take care of. And that the issue would be, if it's not going to be too much, reviewing our numbering system, course numbering system, because everything is 1,000 level. And in my opinion, some of them to have a prerequisite should be 2,000 level course. And that's going to make it a little bit better for our advising, and also for when they're transferring these courses out of states, other states will give a little bit value and to our system and see what's going on, because you cannot have a 2-year degree, everything 1,000 level. The only thing that we have 2,000 level is our hydraulic and pneumatics. So motors and controls, PLCs, and automation, they all should be at 2,000 level, not 1,000 level course. So we can talk about it next fall.
Okay, let's put that on the agenda for sure. And maybe we can make a spreadsheet to see what people are using for, and that would be for advanced manufacturing specialization, of course, what courses you're using to fulfill those higher level courses, and check those numbers.
Sounds great. Anybody else have anything? We're about to stop, and I appreciate everybody coming. If you have questions, don't hesitate to email me, Brad, or Maryland, and we'll try to get you some answers or get you to the person who can make an answer. All right. I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you. And don't forget the survey. All right. Make sure you take the survey, and we'll try to capture everybody. I've got a list of who I think will attended. So I'll send that to you, Marilyn. All right. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. And also,
I think we lost Marilyn.
That was quick. All right.
I think we're done. Go ahead. We can go ahead and you can send out an email, I think.